And now, live from San Francisco, it's Barbara Simpson on Hot Talk 560 KSFO.
Hot Talk 560 KSFO. I'm Mark Williams, in for the babe in the bunker. Barbara Simpson has the day off. Welcome. Coming up in just 1 week on Saturday the 22nd in Fairfield, a major regional tea party. 6 hours, 5 hours long, from 1 till 5 o'clock in the 1 till 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Being put on by the Napa Tea Party. Go to napateaparty.com, find out all about it. I'll be the MC. My man Sussman will be there. Your old friend Melanie Morgan and Kat Moy and a few other folks will be there too. We'll have music, we'll have entertainment, lots of good food, all kinds of wonderful stuff. Go to napateaparty.com and we'll see you on the 22nd. In studio this hour, we've got a couple of folks vying for Nancy Pelosi's job, and dear God, the guy I saw when I got off the Bay Bridge wearing the purple tutu, who was not part of the Beta Breakers. Right about now, I'd give him the gig, because we just got to do something about her. He wasn't part of the Bay for Breakers. But anyway, we've got Dana Walsh and John Dennis here in the studio. Welcome to both of you. So glad to have you both here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
And John, John and I just realized we met at CPAC not too long ago too. Back when we were there with the Tea Party Express. I forget what city I'm in on any given day these days. I'm going to start with Dana, because you both you just kind of get your bona fides here. You're both business people and all that. Your background is basically business, right, Dana?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm an industrial design. I have an industrial design degree, and I have practiced interior design in the city for over 30 years. I'm a certified interior designer in the state of California.
They certify interior designers?
They do such things. That's how much government control there is over
They don't
our
just
lives.
look for the gay guy and say, here, you got the job. Wow. But they actually certify interior designers.
Very much so.
Okay.
And actually, there are there is some legislation being proposed now that would limit it even more, which I'm against. So
wait a minute, they want to regulate, what color paint goes on what wall and what shelf goes where.
They want to regulate who can do such things. It's very disturbing. They can't help themselves. What can I say?
Even John is shaking his head and expelling air at that one.
Well, and I've had a retail store in the city for 10 years, which gives you a real good feel of what the city's all about and how to work with people at City Hall here. Yeah. But this, of course, we're talking about the job that Nancy Pelosi holds, which is a federal position. Yeah,
and this city is probably one of the most overly regulated and so diverse as well. I mean, if you can't get along with people, you don't belong in San Francisco. I mean, you got to get along with all kinds of different kinds of people, right?
This is true.
Now, John, you're shaking your head at the regulatory thing. Apparently, you've experienced that as well. You're also a business guy, right?
Yeah, that's right.
What do you do?
I'm a real estate investor.
Okay, so you.
And real estate, and I've also I was a co-founder of a manufacturing company.
Okay, and regulation. My wife and I were, during the bubble, we were doing some real estate investing as well. So if you can loan me a dime, that'd be great. But we that's another sector that's heavily regulated in the state of California, and seemingly the wrong way.
Oh, everywhere, yeah, everywhere. And I was shaking my head because it makes me wonder why it is that two adults can't do transactions with one another without the government being the third party.
That has been a running theme as I've gone across the country for the last 2 years now on these Tea Party Express trips and the Stop Obama tour before that. I'm learning one thing about true conservatives, and that is that they tend to not be the stereotype. It's not hate the gay, hate the black man, don't want to spend a nickel. It's government's job is to keep and protect all of our individual rights. You both?
Yeah, that's the core theme of my campaign is, what is the appropriate role of the government in our lives? Because the government is involved in so many different things, so intrusive now. And if we don't discuss that, have that discussion in this country, then we're never going to solve our problems, because we'll just keep going back to the same problems over and over again.
And the most amazing thing, my mantra of my campaign, is that we have a government that is totally out of control, and yet it's intent on controlling every aspect of its citizens' lives, which, on every level. Federal, state, and county, city. Yeah,
they can't run themselves, but they want to come run us. Yeah. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
They've done such a good job in Washington.
Well, here's the thing about running for Nancy Pelosi's seat from San Francisco. 2 words: San Francisco. I mean, you're both conservative to varying degrees and varying issues. You're both vying for the nomination. but you're going up against an icon of the American hardcore left wing in perhaps the world headquarters outside of Pyongyang of the hardcore left wing. I mean, do either one of you seriously have a snowball's chance in Miami? Let me start with you.
Well, I think the first thing you have to do is not talk yourself out of being able to win the votes, because the objective isn't to make San Francisco go from a left-oriented town to a right-oriented town. The objective is just to get enough votes to defeat Nancy Pelosi. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, when we first started, that my goals were less ambitious than success in the conventional sense. How's that? But, along the way, we realized we could win lots of votes, and my positions are more, they're more libertarian, conservative, and it allows me to reach out across the political spectrum. And I have to say, I think if we get the right breaks, if we have the right resources, we have an opportunity to defeat Nancy Pelosi.
Dana?
Well, I think what we have right now is a unique opportunity to reach people who have come to understand that, again, government has run amok, and Nancy Pelosi is a symbol of that. I think we should reach now to moderates and the declined estates that we call closet Republicans. But I think my positions and John's are very different on some things. I think I'm probably more conservative than John, well, certainly on matters of foreign policy.
Where's your big difference with John?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would start with how you treat terrorists. He wants to close Gitmo. He thinks they should have the same rights as U.S. citizens. I totally disagree. He thinks our foreign military bases are unconstitutional. That's something I have no idea where that comes from, and I don't think it will make us safe at all. And he also, he doesn't believe in waterboarding and other torture. I've just kind of reached the point where when I hear about enhanced interrogation techniques, tough interrogation techniques, I think, what are we supposed to have, like wussy interrogation techniques? Because I think there is a very real place, and I trust our military and I trust our CIA to do just what they have to do and nothing more, but I don't think we can tie their hands behind their backs, and I think we're very, very different on those positions.
John, is her portrayal of your position accurate?
For the most part, no. I've looked this up. I can't find a time when I ever said we should close Gitmo. I don't remember saying that. I don't remember seeing it written anywhere, and it's not my position. We do have a substantial difference over foreign policy. I think we're facing a debate that America's looking at right now. Should we have an interventionist or a non-interventionist foreign policy? I'd say there are probably strengths and weaknesses to both, but I'm more in the camp of non-interventionism, which I think is our party's traditional foreign policy. Don't get involved in the affairs of other countries. Fight back when you've been attacked or when you're under imminent threat. That's when you go to war. I believe in following the Geneva Conventions. We signed them. We're a party to them. We should do that. And as far as the foreign bases are concerned, well, I think that 95% of what we're going through right now is because we've had a loosey-goosey interpretation of the Constitution. 95% of our problem is because we haven't followed the Constitution. And I think if you're going to read it, you've got to read it strictly. Article 1, Section 8, where is the authorization to have those bases? Now, I have to say, people who I respect disagree with me on this issue. So what I've said is, look, let's do this. We are bankrupt as a country. As a fiscal conservative, we have to look at where we're spending money on our defense and say, are these bases making us safe? Is the base in Zambia making us any safer? Is the base in Bulgaria making us any safer? Are we making ourselves safer by subsidizing the defense of Japan 65 years after the Second World War? I think these are legitimate questions that need to be answered, and we have to, because the fact is we can't afford it anymore.
Can we afford it?
Well,
Dana?
I would say there's a much more important thing, and that is we're talking about the Republican candidate in San Francisco. And as far as cutting defense, we have already in Congress, under Nancy Pelosi, and I think it's being carried by Barney Frank, they already are talking about 25% defense cuts. I don't think we need the Republican Party or the Republican candidate making that case. I think we have to make the case that we have to have a strong defense, because one thing we've learned is, we have peace through strength, and we have to be very clear on that. We also do not want to appease our enemies. And again, John's position is that we become friendly to oil-producing countries. I think the Obama tour of bowing and kowtowing to despots and dictators has pretty much